Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's Monday, March 16th. We're going to look over 0-day options today on SPY and small account challenge. Quite a grindy Monday. Monday sometimes are the days they build liquidity for the whole week. Today was no exception. This is the 30-minute chart. This is provided by Eric. He is SPY Day Trading on YouTube. Link for his Discord is in the description. So pretty big gap up this morning. Ended last week, completing this inverse cup, getting close to that 200-day. Today was just a grind, basically with 5 days resistance. So if we continue this trajectory down on the longer time frame, 5-day with the resistance and bottom Bollinger as a support on the way down. So still looking pretty bearish. We did the only real move on the 30-minute that I see that happened was the break of this blue that then found support on this orange. So very minor. Without any like 30-minute kind of channel breaks, the market can really get pretty ugly on a smaller time frame. Pretty grindy. So today was pretty tricky. Not great. 5 days here. That's the gold. And this morning was quite slow. I started with purple here for precision buying. Resistance here, support here. I was looking for the bullish controlled selling. That's usually the first thing I'm looking for if it's for an uptrend. Trying to figure out where that is so I can figure out where to take an entry. Couldn't really find it because I kind of just kept grinding up. So, but you can see with this wick right here in purple, it actually retested that perfectly. So that was kind of interesting. And then I did see this little tapering channel I put here in gold. Broke out of that though, continued up. Even broke out of the purple. So maybe this wasn't quite right, this purple, I'm not sure. Wasn't too confident in it. But then we got up here. Excuse me. So I had this, let's see, this one right here. Yeah, this white one. I didn't have that till later. So at this point I had this gray, the steeper gray. The break and the retest and flipping it a support for the bullish controlled selling. And then that gold we found down there, I threw up here for this support, flipping the support, and then that turned into the resistance up there. So tapering, which is bearish, but it can taper for a long time. And the fact that it's kind of a tight range to even find a long entry here is a little tricky, especially because it only retested this gold just right here. So if you were charting it and had a line break here, potentially you could take it. Or you could take it on this retest with gold being your stop. It's not great structure though. It really isn't. It was pretty ugly morning for that. First one I got into was a call at 10, 11 call. Okay, yeah. So with this gold tapering, it broke it here. So either my gold is wrong or this is a false break. And I think it was actually a false break. So broke it here. I got a call on this retest. I'm thinking it's breaking this tapering channel. And the steeper buying precision is taking over. So had the red to manage my risks. It immediately comes back into gold and breaks red. I maybe could have closed it a little earlier once it came back in gold, but sometimes it does a nice fat retest before it rips. So I didn't close it till here. Kind of a big, well, kind of slippage, I guess, more or less. 127 to 113. I don't like taking those breakouts. It did also even include volume, which is what you would need. On the 30-minute, we're just in the middle of nowhere. There's a gap below us too since we gapped up, so I don't know, just wasn't happening. False break. Strike one. Next trade was at 10:55. It was put 10:55. Oh wow. Hold on. So we do this, and you almost could immediately get puts. However, we're still in a buying channel. It's tapering, and it's bearish controlled buying. So your stops are going against you. So I didn't do that. However, once I did recognize in gold, I'm like, well, it's very grindy. I think we are going to see a retracement or a zombie at some point. And so I'm going to open up a spread. So I did a credit spread. Let me pull that up on here. Here it is. So I opened up, let's see, it came down here. So false breakout or lack of continuation. It's a good sign of reversal, but also this tapering. And there was no structure for this move up. It never made an inverse head. It's just built liquidity all the way up. And so you can kind of expect somewhat of retracement at least. Build ahead to if it wants to keep going. But the tapering was the big thing for me. So around here, after I got stopped out of that, I'm like, all right. I might open up a call credit spread, a bearish play. And at that point, I had this white, or this is actually bullish controlled selling. But that would be to control, to limit my, or for my stops. So if it starts selling in that could be how I manage my risk. And sure enough, it came up. Did I delete it? Okay, I moved it up there. It was down here, right there. Is that right? I think so. Came up, retested it. Or was it this one? I can't remember. Yeah, let me see. When did I open this thing? 10/19. Opened up 4 call credit spreads. Let's see, 672, 671 call credit spreads. So I bought the 672s, I sold the 671s to receive a credit. As long as SPY expires below 671, it's max gain. So I receive the credit, and then to close it, I buy it back for cheaper, ideally, if I want to be profitable. So here's where I opened it. 10/19, 4 of them, or I think it was like a $250 credit. Let's see, right on this candle, right there. Yeah, it was with the white. So it came up. I had a limit order because I kind of thought I'd get it. With Webull's really tough. The slippage is awful. It's hard to get filled on it. So you gotta really just give it everything. And it actually filled it right here. And then I was gonna use gray for my stop. So it came down, nice big candle, and then rallied up, and then I'm like, oh boy, but it wicked, which was fine because I wanted to give it some room in case I wanted to double top. And yeah, because we are still technically in this tapering gold, so I thought it could keep coming up here, but I'm gonna have my risk for if it breaks this high, I'm gonna close it because I don't want to hold it for that grind up. At that point, I'd have this gold or this white or that blue. So I just had this one. It wicked below it, and these are nice. Time is on your side. You want time to pass because it decays the contracts. So it's nice for when it's just chopping and grinding. This was just out of the money at this point, so that's good. And then sure enough, it started selling off. So I considered up here, where would I get puts? And so I put, of course, the gold for resistance, and then right here would be the support, where you could get them. You could get puts right here once it breaks here, or even here. Really, there is probably where I'd get it if I was gonna get puts. And then take profit probably on this gold. After that, low of day gold. After that, I didn't have this one, so probably just low of day. But since I opened up the spread, I wasn't looking for puts. I was kind of just leaving it alone, letting it go on the spreads. I didn't want to have to manage to. Some days I do, but I just left it alone. So started selling off, which was great. Left the spread and finally charted an actual precision selling with this green. I hadn't seen it until here. So charted that one and closed out of my first credit spread. So I opened it for, oh man, a credit of 53 cents. Closed out of the first one for 35 cents at 10:31, which I think is, let's see right here, yeah. So this was VWAP. It was also potentially retesting this white, retesting it for support, and then it was very close to this gold. So closed the first one out right here, and closed out the next one for 34 cents. So 1 penny cheaper at 1033 right here. So that was on the gold, which is what I was kind of looking for. And then, let's see, closed out then another one at 1036. So on this candle, once it broke that green, like, all right, I'm gonna get one more, and then I'll have one as a runner, which is easier to do with credit spreads, to let them just decay as opposed to naked puts or naked calls. So then it came down, and let's see, where did I pick up on the small account challenge? Yeah, it was a little later. So it completed the inverse cup. I didn't close in there, I don't think. No, because I was, like I said, this is one I'm just sitting on. It's a runner. I'm hoping to inverse cup and a handle, and I was gonna have gray be my stop on the credit spread, because this was the final boss right here. And so when it was down here, yeah, I could have of course closed it, and yeah, maybe in hindsight, but realistically I had 4 of them. I closed out at 75%, so I was fine to leave 25% on to get closer to max profit on it. So yeah, let me just finish that trade out because we're on that. So close out the final one. Here they are. Close out that final one at 1124 for 40 cents. So it's actually not that much higher. Right about here. Yeah. So once it broke that gray, I closed it out, even though it did come back down. But that's because I didn't have these other lines. So stuck to my plan. Closed it out there. It was 40 cents, a little bit more than I got here, which is crazy, or here, just because of all the time decay, and it was still out of the money. So paid 4 more cents for it, which is fine. And so yeah, on the margins spread account, nice little $66 a day, one trade, one and done. It's nice to have that option for grindy days, days when the premiums are high. You can just sell the premium. And today was, yes, premiums are still a little pumped. They're in the 20s, kind of high 20s, but nothing crazy. But when it's slow and you're trying to have some exposure to it, if you kind of have a pretty good idea, spreads work nice for that. The small account challenge, 1055. Did we do that one? No. So 1055. I opened up. What is this? 1055 opened up a put. Yeah, once it completed its inverse cup and there was that big gap below us, we rejected 5-day. My bias did definitely go to the short side. It was too bad. But I was just like, all right, I'm catching this handle. This is going to be a sick move. All those thoughts that come in your head, like, oh, this is going to be so sick. I'm going to go so huge on this downside move. I'm so ready for it. So I was just fired up with anticipation. And so I was front running it. This entry was okay. I was like, all right, I'll use VWAP. I'll do VWAP for a stop. I got on this candle. Hadn't even broken the steep red that I charted from back here. But I was like, that's fine. So breaks VWAP. I'm like, oh man. Should I hold it? Should I sell it? So I held through, and then big candle. I closed it somewhere on this, or no, on this one. Never mind. Close it on that one. Yeah, I did. So that was a loss. 94 cents to 80 cents. Kind of a sucky loss, actually. That's weird. 1055 to 1058. Yeah. So I closed this one probably when it was green. It was up here because this is a big red candle. Yeah. So, yeah. Kind of part of the problem with just running off of VWAP. I usually don't do that, but in this case, like I said, I was hyped on that handle. Doesn't always work out though, and I did have white here or gray in case it was going to be in inverse head and shoulder and go to the upside, but yeah. So next trade was put again at 1105. So I saw that red candle and I saw the green. I'm like, okay, it's very, very likely it could be retesting this gold. So, and then sure enough, it like perfectly retested it. Starts selling the green, and I jump in here, and I'm using green for my stop. But yes, it is like in the middle of a wedge with gold and gray, and I kind of knew it. Again, I was pretty hyped on that handle. Had a bit of a bias, 1105. Closed it at. So these are, I'm getting limit opens. So my opens are limits at least. So I'm getting better fills. So the losses aren't quite as bad. 1109 I closed it. So on this candle. Once it broke out of the green, I guess I waited one extra candle. Broke out of the green, I closed it. That was 95 cents to 82 cents. So yeah, another kind of nasty one. And then is that one? 1123. Okay, no. 1123 opened up a call. Now I was really still looking for puts, and then it broke gray. I'm like, dang it, I have to get a call now. This is the last one. Now it's gonna complete the cup. So it breaks that, kind of hangs out. I do a limit order, get filled here. So got a nice fill. Wasn't too impatient on that one. Wait, hold on. Is that right? No. 1123, what'd I say? Oh, I was impatient. No, I was on the retrace right here, so not too bad. I had some patience. I got it on this candle. 1123. That's when I closed. So 57 cents to 47 cents. 1120. Oh yeah, that's right. This wick got me. Bugger. So broke the purple, broke into the gray. I'm like, maybe there's something I'm not seeing here. Maybe this break isn't legit. And I close it, and then it just wicks out of there. Oh no. Yeah, wicked on out of there. So that was 57 cents to 47 cents. The range is quite tight today though, so these aren't too difficult to manage. Or not huge losses. And then 1139 I get a put. And then another one at 1139. I think at that point, yeah, I charted this gray. So I found this gray from right here. Support, and then resistance, and then it had rejected that. So that was resistance up there. Nice little head and shoulders here on 5-day. So instead of it breaking out here and going to the upside, it was still inside a wedge. And unbeknownst to me. Until then. And then I saw that. And I'm in it, 1139. Right here. So basically using gray, this new gray, this flatter gray as a stop for me. And then looking for a move all the way down, really. I mean, down a low a day, potentially down here. So it's just such a grind down. Like, I guess it did happen. This is more of a spreads or futures trade. Yeah, because it didn't really work for me. 1139, I got one. Got another one on that candle for, let's see, 63 cents for both. Oh, yeah, never mind. This one worked pretty well, actually. Held it through all this grinding. I'm using this for my stop, so nice big red candle. I'm like, all right, let it go. And then we get, sorry, this candle right here down to this gold. I think I tried this gold then also. This gold was from, where did I get that from? Oh, support. No, that wasn't there yet. Where did I get it from? Huh, maybe I didn't have gold yet. This was kind of a VWAP close, I think. Or this gray. Yeah, retesting on this gray. That's probably what it was. So, got it here. Closed one there at, what did I say, 53. So that was 63 cents to 89 cents. I had two of them. Closed the second one at 86 cents. The next been 11.54. So once it broke the green, you know, since I only had two, I needed to close it. Although I did want it all the way to low a day, of course. We're still in a wedge. I caught a head or close to it and the top of the wedge. So I can't just expect it to kind of have continuation when I am just trading the wedge at that point. So closing both there. Nice little green trade. Brought me back. I don't know. I wasn't checking my P&L. I was maybe close to break even at that point. Yeah, because the losses are small, and that's a pretty nice gain on those, and I had two of them. Next one was a put at 12.23, so it came all the way down. So it did a handle, and then it did this whole move, but didn't have continuation. Oh, this one is that. Oh, yeah, this one sucked. So I actually walked away after that. I got that green trade. I'm like, man, it's not a great day so far. And then I think I had charted gold from this and this, or at some point. And it comes down and it bounces and it's finding resistance on gold, which gold is a bearish controlled buying. So if that's controlling the buying, then it's most likely going to come down. However, it isn't a wedge, so it could still be controlled by this gray right here. That would be bullish. So they're competing, a lot of competing algos today. And I come back to the desk pretty shortly before this or after this, and it breaks that gold. I'm like, well, that's my trigger now that I have this gold in here. Looking for a move down to test, you know, the support on one of these resistances. So down here, and breaks it, and I get it. I actually get a nice sold trade here, but you'll see what happens. You will see. Let's see on this candle. So nice big green candle retesting gold, as well as this green selling I have. I got a nice entry right here. That was maybe even a limit. Yeah, limit open at 86 cents, 666 put. So down here's the strike. It comes down almost a whole point. Yeah, almost a whole point. Down to here. I'm not seeing any support until at that point I have this blue. Until lower. Like, let's see. Where to tell? Like here. Yeah. So just didn't have the continuation. Ended up, I held it because I'm like, all right, well, I'll wait for it to break green. I'm hoping it's going to keep coming down. I'm assuming it will. Big candle comes up and it breaks green. I'm like, all right, well, I'll give it some room to breathe before it keeps coming down. And it starts grinding up. I'm like, okay. Gray, I'll use this gray as my stop. But I'm like, well, I'm very well could retest gold now because, you know, just how it did here, gold is building liquidity to come down. And you see where this is going. So I could have closed here and like reopened. I don't know. I got greedy on this one. I really did. I wanted more of a move, and it bit me. It was 12.23. This thing was up probably 50-60%. Maybe not 60, probably 40 or 50% right here to here, almost a point. About noon time, which, yeah, that'll give you about 50 or so. Let's see, 12.23 for 81 cents. Closed it for 58 cents at 41 right here. Yeah, so that one was annoying that I did that because I could have easily had a night. It was actually made the day green right there, and I just, yeah, this is the typical SPY trading that I'm kind of trained myself for, that I just didn't do on that occasion. We've had so much continuation days lately in large ranges where it's trying to condition me to just hold for bigger moves, but you know, it's not the case usually. And I knew better. Once I broke that green, I should have just yeah, enjoyed the nice fruits of the profit. 86 cents to 58. Yeah, so that nice green trade turned into a gross little red trade. And then I was pretty much over it. 123, I opened up another one at a call. This was for that break. Yep, that was, I don't know, false break. Broke my gray. Kind of the middle of the day though. And that was the thing here too, which I should have looked and noticed that it's timing of the day. Like, you don't usually get continuation that time of day. Like, you can, but you really need to see volume kick up to confirm it. So this was a little false break up here that I got caught in. 126. I opened it up. These are smaller contract size though, so 37 cents. Closed it for 33 cents. So real small loss. Kept my losses small. Closed it on that candle, 129. And next one was another little red trade. So without these last two, actually, it would have been, yeah, it's still a small red day. 217. Right here. Yeah, this break. I put in this other blue channel, I'm not even sure, from these supports right here. This was the body on this one. Support. I don't know if this was a jit or not. Maybe. broke here. I open it up, used red for my stop to manage my risk. 32 cents to 26. Closed it at 220 when I broke back in there. And then I was done. I had other stuff to do. So it's good because of this. I don't think I would have been able to catch this. I don't even know what's going on here. This looks like news, but this candle was so fast. Completed the cup and then just gross. So ended up actually looking like a lot of trades. Fortunately, there they all are. Yeah, more trades than I'd like. If I was green earlier on, it would have been fewer trades, I think. At least that's what I'm trying to stick with. Like kind of getting kind of green and then just leaving it alone until something else is really nice, going about my day. But wasn't quite the case. So that's 60 something whatever on the spreads account, and this one is -40. So actually still technically a green day, but for the small account challenge it is a small red day. Not bad. As long as I can have a 100+ green day. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. See you tomorrow. Peace out.